Welcome guys, we are now on to yet another episode of my amazing Uncomfortably Comfortable podcast, and today we have two more amazing women from Alpha who are going to chat and introduce themselves, and we're going to talk all things progress and why so many women always start off with the only thing that they desperately want is for the weight on the scale to get less, but actually it's very, very rare for that to continue on and for it to be what we actually end up wanting. So let's introduce my amazing guest first of all. So Emma, tell us a bit about yourself.
Emma McCann. I joined yourself at Alpha about, I think we're coming up to the year's anniversary.
We're pretty much bang on a year today.
Is it today? Oh well, there we go.
A year today.
And when you asked me to do this, I did actually reflect and think, oh, what have I got to say? Why did I start doing this? So it actually took me right back to the very beginning to think, why did I start this? And
Amazing.
It was about the weight loss, but for me, and obviously things have increased and progressed as the journeys went on, but initially for me it was about weight loss and feeling better mentally and emotionally because I didn't have a grip of that. Would I say I have a grip today? Not fully, but definitely working on it. Good. And definitely feeling better about it. Amazing. And more in control. So that's a big part for me.
Amazing. And then we have the beautiful Arlene. Arlene, introduce yourself, tell us a bit about you.
My name's Arlene Walker. I'm not going to talk about my age, but one of my main reasons for sort of joining yourself and coming along to Alpha was I had hit that age where I was getting that little lovely menopause middle and doing everything I possibly could to try and get rid of that menopause middle, and nothing was working.
Yep.
So again, focusing on the scales, focusing on how I looked in clothes. And I think it just was making me feel really bad about myself every time I looked in that mirror.
Yep.
So obviously came along to, hopefully, I was at that stage, I was like, right, may as well see what kind of things Vanda can help me do. And
we're still here, mate.
Today, still here. And I think I'm just about a year as well.
We're just coming up to that as well, absolutely. So what I love about both of you guys is you actually both have very different histories with exercise and diets, in all honesty. So it's really interesting to see that both of you joined for realistically exactly the same purpose, but what you'd actually done in the past was entirely different. So Arlene, we knew each other before you even joined, and I know that I had put a post out a while ago and you were like, yeah, you were not that person when we first met. So before you joined Alpha, you were still really, really heavily in exercise. So what was a normal week in the life of exercise for you beforehand?
I pretty much was that cardio girl. I pretty much was 5 days a week, slogging it out, doing body attack classes, spin classes, eating that 1,200 calories, and nothing was working for me. I was burnt out.
Yeah.
And it just got to that stage. I was like, I'm so fed up. I'm doing everything I possibly can, and yet nothing is changing.
Just that frustration of it all.
I'm so tired. I'm so frustrated. I just want to feel like me again. And there was no me again. It was literally, 1,200 calories. What am I eating today on basically what I've got here?
Oh, wow.
Every diet, every fad diet out there, Arlene has tried.
Okay.
You name it, shakes.
Do you have a favourite one? Do you have one that you're like that, oh my God, that was the worst?
The worst one was, and actually this was the point where I phoned you. I'd literally taken one of those little injection-y things that helps you, shut out the food noise.
Yep.
And I knew about 2 days after taking it, I was like, this is not me, this is not for me.
Yes.
I like the food, I don't like how I feel. And I'd spent a fortune and I'd spent months trying to get the injectables and then literally put them straight in the bin and told you.
Wow. So big change then. Big change.
So that was definitely by far the worst. The worst diet. But 1,200 calories a day. When I look at it now, I'm like, my toddler didn't even eat that.
Exactly. And Emma, for you, exercise was a really scary thing to get into.
Yeah, it was non-existent in my life for so long because all the fad diets that I'd done, if you went and you put on a pound that week, what have you done? Oh, well, I started in the gym. I'd maybe went to 2 classes.
Exactly.
So I was maybe retaining that bit extra fluid because muscle was healing, whatever it may be. And it was like almost as if it was like a bad thing to be going to the gym while you were doing those fad diets. It was like one or the other. But I've since learned that you need both hand in hand because it doesn't work otherwise. Well, it certainly doesn't for me. So it was basically about re-educating myself because the fad diets worked for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I'd maybe lose 10 pounds.
Yes.
And then I would put that 10 pounds up on within even quicker than what I lost it.
Because it wasn't really body fat that we're really losing.
I was absolutely miserable because what I would do is I would maybe start with a friend and my body's just maybe different. All our bodies are different. But they would go the first week and lose like an amazing, like what I thought was phenomenal, 6-7 pounds. And I would be like, right, okay. And I would step on the scales and it'd be like 2.5 pounds. I'd be like, wait a minute, I've stuck religiously. They went out at the weekend, they were drinking, they had a Chinese and they've lost 7 pounds. I just couldn't get that my body wasn't the same as theirs and I had to find something that suited my body. And I found it and it's basically having a high protein diet. And I'm not hungry.
Oh God, no.
I still have notions, I still have, I could go this, I could go that. But I'm certainly not sitting at night starving and thinking, could I just put that wee slice of bread on it, like 68 calories that's in there, and
because you just don't want it, you know, needing it.
And I would always be hungry going to bed thinking, what could I eat?
So were you that person going to bed starving every night? Absolutely. And I can imagine you would have been on 1200.
I took myself to bed because I was hungry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I wouldn't deny I have done that. When I've done a photo shoot, I have been that person who's been like, bed is better than falling down the biscuit tin, so we'll do that. But like it's certainly never been a lifestyle choice is the difference. Like when you're doing something like that for maybe 12 weeks and you get to maybe like 2 weeks of the 12 that you feel like that, that's one thing. But spending your whole entire life feeling like that, that's just fucking miserable. Like miserable.
Yep.
And what about you? Do you have that one point that you were like, oh, fuck this?
It was actually last year. I was going on holiday and started buying some clothes leading up to the holiday. Beautiful things I was buying, lovely summery clothes, and everything I put on and looked in the mirror, I felt awful. I could have burst out crying. Sometimes I did, and I thought, this is terrible. But I knew myself, I'm going on holiday. There's no point in starting now. There's no point in giving myself that unrealistic thing of every Monday.
Yes.
Because you know right away.
Because you can obviously only start things on a Monday.
And I'm a bit of a slow burner, so I knew that I had to work myself up to it. And I had seen a couple of your posts on Facebook just through some other people to go. So that was already, the seed had already been planted through that. And I thought, when I come back, I'm going to go and enjoy myself. I'll eat what I want, drink what I want. And I was all ate out, all drank out. And I thought, I do not want to do another year of this. He'd be miserable.
Yes, exactly.
Worrying about if the belt's going to fit in the seat because you've got that big. Yep, exactly. Yep. So went on holiday. It was okay. Had a good time.
It was
but
okay.
You had that underlying thing of, if you're wearing a dress, are people looking at me? You've got your swimming costume on. Oh, look at me, look at her. Doing that comparison thing. So I came home, reached out to yourself, started in October. It must have been like the end of September or something I came home.
Yep, it was.
And just from there, right up till Christmas, we did one-to-ones. Didn't know how I was going to feel about obviously doing the small group, but it was the best thing for me because I feel it's pushed me to do better. Yeah. And kind of when I'm seeing what the other girls are doing, I'm thinking, if they can do that, I can do that.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Yep, absolutely. And I've never felt more in control of my life than what I do now. And I feel like a different person, but I feel I've got a sense of clarity. Yes. I can make decisions better. I can cope with my emotions a lot better. I used to cry at the drop of a hat. I was like,
I was that person 100%. Yeah. Like, I feel like the gym's a big thing for me, more mental health now than physical. Obviously, like for me, that physical transformation, if you, for want of a better word, has happened. But for me, for a long time, it was a mental thing rather than a physical thing, because it was that way of, it actually stopped a lot of the bad behaviours that were then resulting in the physical element happening. But yeah, I mean, massive change for you. So a lot has changed in regards to what we put a priority on. Like for all of us, we've all kind of been in that space where it's been like, the scale is the only priority. But actually, do you know what? I think exactly as you've both said, it's not really so much anymore. Like, you're just back from a few holidays and we've had some really insane light bulb moments on what's important now. Like, what's been the big one?
I think it was the day I put on that bikini. And I sent you a picture to say, I've always looked at myself in a bikini and went, no, you're putting this bikini on, you're kidding yourself on. Again, that menopause middle just sat there before.
Yep.
And I'd look at my friend and I'd be like, she looks amazing in that bikini. And she gave no stuffs either. She was like, I do look amazing and I'm going to really rock this holiday. Whereas I'd be there hiding under something.
Yeah, that difference and like crunching into yourself.
Wrapping myself up as soon as I got off the beach towel. But this year I put on the bikini and I was like, I actually rock this bikini this year. And I put it on and I said to my husband, I was like, look at this bikini on me. And he's like, you look fucking stunning. He's like, he says, I see the difference in you. You're much more confident.
Yes.
You're comfortable in your own skin. He says, I've not seen that in you for a long time.
Yes.
So I knew then when I put it on, I was like, yeah, I do actually look quite good in this.
And do you feel like that is that's that turning point of that's the priority now? Like the scale moving will move because of the other things that happen, but to be able to stand in that bikini, is that more important than what the scale says now?
And even then, it's not so much, I think for me, it's just being comfortable and confident and strong now. Because I don't only just use it for that sort of sitting in front of the mirror looking at me in my bikini. It's more for that mental health piece for me.
Yes.
Dan will actually turn around and say to me, have you been to the gym today? And I'm like, I'm due to go later on. I've got a session booked in this evening. He's like, you need to go to the gym today because obviously for me, it works out my stress. It works out my, my anxieties, all these kind of things.
And you have you do have a lifestyle that has 1,001 things going on. Right? Between, like, both of your kids are extremely active with a million extra curricular things going on. They're both very, very different kind of kids. You've got a job that involves you being, for want of a better term, extremely social with people a lot of the time. But actually, that's not your comfort zone, like, in any way at all. So that takes a lot of energy and a lot of battery from you all the time. Like, you have a drive and a want to have the best relationship you can with Dan, but that also takes energy and effort and mental stuff. So like it is such a busy lifestyle, so to incorporate that in and be able to fold it in well where it's helpful, that's massive, instead of just being at burnout of classes all the time.
That's it. I've said to them, I was like, look, if you want a happy mum, you need to let mum do something for herself to make herself happy. And I think this is it for me. It is actually getting out and going to small group classes. It is actually, going doing your, your sweat fest classes, etc.
Go for a run, you started Couch to 5K, which we don't love, but we don't love, but we feel better for it. But it is exactly that. It's like that movement element for you is such a massive change to it being a positive and not being like, I am going to batter my body because my body needs to be smaller. Like that, I think that's kind of where it got to, didn't it? It was like, I'll just batter it and hope for the best that it's going to happen. Whereas for you now, like you say, there's such a big amount of clarity.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what you want from it.
Yeah, like 100%. I wouldn't say I feel comfortable in my body yet because it's still a work in progress. But I'm not as fixed on the scales as what I would, because there's times where I've obviously reached out to yourself where that scale hasn't went down and I'm like, I'm too big for that scale to not be going down yet. Why is it not going down? But we've found that there's a pattern with my body where I'll have those few good weight losses, I'll plateau for a good few weeks.
And then it
drops again. And I just need to I've got used to that. But it took me a while to
accept that that's how your loss works.
A significant weight loss every week. I'm putting in all this work, but it does actually, it works if you trust the process.
For you, it's that compound effect, more than anything. It's like that snowball effect, but your snowball has basically 3 weeks that it goes very, very slow and 2 weeks that it goes very, very fast. And then, you getting used to that is hard. So I can imagine standing in a slimming group with Joe Lovely telling you that you're a bad person that you didn't do it right because the scale didn't move that week.
Done wrong this week?
So what's wrong?
That's the words. What have you done wrong?
Where'd you go wrong this
Where
week?
did you go wrong? What are we going to do different next week? Well, actually, we're not going to do anything different next week because we actually just need our body to catch up and actually do what we know we need to do consistently for another 3 or 5 weeks or 6 weeks or 12 weeks and keep it going. But yeah, so what went wrong? What did you do wrong? Like, I can absolutely imagine that linking that in with the scale must just be an absolute mindfuck. I know for me, I used to go to Slimming World when I started, and I was the person who used to go in. So I attempted to wear the same work dress every week because there was basically nothing to it. I was fucking freezing in it at my work.
No underwear.
Same. I used to go into the bathroom. I used to take all my underwear off, come back in my dress because the dress was long enough. I didn't need to wear tights with it because that would obviously just add more on to the scale as well. And genuinely, I couldn't tell you a Thursday for about 8 weeks that I ate anything before I weighed in at class. Now, I went to class after work. So it was like 6:30 at night, and then I would go home, and genuinely, like, there was nothing stopping me from eating anything that was in sight.
Or if you'd had a good week, you'd then treat yourself.
Were you a treat myself after it?
And that's
Right,
the worst
okay.
thing to possibly do, because then it's not the right food
No.
that you're actually doing. You're like, oh, I'll reward myself. I've lost £1 this week.
Yeah.
And then go and eat £3 worth of food.
But the thing is as well, is it's like, to your point on that, it's the treat word. It's as if we should reward ourselves for not eating for a week. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah. You starved yourself for a day. You're dehydrated. You don't have any food in your stomach. You're exhausted. You're tired. You're fatigued. Like, I love the word that you use, just burnt out. Like, you're utterly burnt out. But that's what we're celebrating. Whereas, like, I think we're all sitting in this room, and I think that we're a very good group at not celebrating that. Like, when we see someone getting burnt out, like, we are the ones to be like, right, enough. Stop. Like, take tomorrow off. Like, go have a nice meal, still focus on quality, but do you know what? Just have a bit of extra food and just fucking stop for a second. Like, you're done in. Like, are people coming back from, like, injury or illness, and they're, like, desperately like, I just want to do 6 sessions this week. And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, you had fucking norovirus last week and you literally haven't ate a proper meal for fucking 5 days. Like, what are you doing? But again, we've had people, and we've all sat and spoke about it in a small group. Someone's come back from having something like that, and they've been like, yeah, but I stood on the scale and I lost £5. And like, it's that difference in our group where everybody does, ooh. Whereas beforehand in Slimming World, everybody's like, oh my God, £5, amazing. Just take the £5, darling. Well done. Well done. She sat on the shitter for 5 days and hasn't been able to fucking eat. She literally feels utterly deflated. She still can't have more than scrambled egg and fucking toast in case she's worried about it coming in one direction or the other. And you want to celebrate £5 off on the scale? Like, what are you thinking? Like, honestly, like, I feel like as a group we have created that different vibe on what the scale means. Like, we celebrate scale wins when they are the right win, but they're not the only win that we celebrate. So, Arlene, 12 months from now, what would be, where would we love to be? Because you've got a really big goal that I love.
I want to be in what we would call maintenance, where I'm not looking at the scales, I'm not having to focus on, I suppose, taking my pictures every week. I want to be a comfortable, this is me now. Yeah. I've got it all. It's now all just part of my life.
Yes.
It's something that I do out of habit, but also because I love it.
Love it.
So, you know me, I like my food.
Yes.
I do like a wee glass of wine.
And you eat amazing food,
And
by the way. We just want to point out
lucky.
Arlene's pictures of our food on our Facebook group are epic. Yeah. You and Dan cook extremely
both cook
well.
Really well, and I enjoy my food. So it's very much a big part of my life, but I don't want it to be ruling my life.
The difference between having that freedom around it and
Absolutely.
not.
For me, it's just being able to sort of go into the shop and pick up something, put it on without having to think, what am I going to look like? Am I going to be too big for this? Is it going to fit me? And don't get me wrong, we know what all shop sizes are like. They like to really fuck with your head.
They do.
But I want to be able to just go in, pick something off the shelf, put it on, and I feel comfortable in it. And I don't need to worry about a week of dieting to get in it.
Yep.
So
okay.
Maintenance for me.
Maintenance is an amazing one. I love it. I don't think enough people actually strive to find that maintenance space.
I think I look at my age and I think to myself, Arlene, you have been dieting for like 25 fucking years.
You were that woman who came to me being like, mate, I've dieted all my life. And I'm like, what do you mean all your life? And you were like, all my life. I don't remember a time that I wasn't considering a diet or doing a diet.
That's it.
Like,
that was me.
That was you, wasn't it? Like,
And this doesn't feel like that. So let's be clear, it doesn't feel like a diet. I still get to eat all that really nice food. I still get to have a little glass of wine, but it's all in moderation now.
Yeah.
And it's all choosing wisely.
Yeah.
And looking on your plate thinking, oh, there's not enough protein on that. I'll stick a little bit more chicken on. Or Dan's like, but you've got loads of chicken. Stick a bit more.
You're like that.
On.
It's never enough. It's never enough.
Stick a bit more on. It's another 10 grams at least.
Also, if you stick it on your plate when the kids take it, you don't.
Well, that's
you're not at a loss.
I do have one that sits and just waits to see if he can get
weights.
Yeah, he's like, what's that steak? Is it medium rare? Go and give me a bit. So, yeah.
So, we've not spoke about this yet, but is there any other goals that you've got in mind that you're toying with that don't involve the scale?
Oh, that's a hard one.
You want to mull and we'll come back to it?
Yeah, let me think about that one.
Right, so Emma, 12 months from now, where do we want to be?
Even though I'm a year into my journey, I still feel I'm very early on into it.
Agree.
I would love to be at that stage where Arlene's at, and I can't wait for that. But I don't think that's next year for me.
I agree.
I think that's
probably the year after. Yeah,
a good wee bit away. So I'm quite happy how things are progressing. I like that I set goals and we set wee mini goals throughout the year, and it gives you something to aim towards. And I love that, and that's how I love about the photo shoot. I did the last one in March, and just before I did it, I had a wee mini meltdown with you. Don't think I'm far enough along in my journey. We had a chat about that, and it was actually a great day. And I got to experience some time with the other girls as well and get to know them and things like that, which was really good as well. And I felt they kind of inspired me as well to then do better when I was in sessions and things, just hearing their stories, how they got there. And then that's why I've signed up for this year's photo shoot. And I feel that's keeping me on track, and I like those goals, and I like being accountable for that, and I feel that's what's helping me progress. So it's just basically continue from where I am. But in terms of goals, I actually made a pact with Caroline this morning that in April I will do the kilt walk with her.
Yes!
It's usually about April, so I turn 40 next year. So to be able to do that, be another few stones down, and she's coming in, feeling stronger mentally and physically.
Amazing.
That's where I want to be. And hopefully come this time next year, I'm maybe sitting saying what Arlene's saying and looking at maintenance. And for the first time in my life, because I've been big since I was about 6 or 7. So I've dieted since I was 14. And it's a miserable place to be in. Yeah. And it's a miserable place to always fail and feel like you failed. Yeah. And to think that this is just my body and I can't change. I'm just obviously
I can't change that.
Size.
I can't. I won't.
But I am now.
Yeah, and you are.
And that's the big difference. This works for me.
Yeah.
And it's the first thing that's ever worked for me that I feel I've never stuck to anything.
Yep.
Is the way I have done with this, and it's totally changed my whole life.
We'll need to do an alpha 40 for 40, me and you.
Oh.
Maybe we'll need to let the guys choose some stuff for us for our 40. Because we're both 40 the same year, mate. Like
I don't know if I feel confident about letting them have that kind of control.
Arlene's sitting there like, ooh, what could we do? We'll maybe do a 40 for 40 workout.
Right, okay.
We'll find 40 things, 40 reps, and we'll see what it looks like. Maybe I'll let you guys put me through that on my birthday rather than the other way around.
Just take me along for the ride there.
Listen, mate, if I'm in, you're in, we're fucking stuck with it. Have you had a think? Is there anything in mind?
There is actually probably a couple of things, actually, now you say it. So for me, I think, even though I hate it, And even though every time I start it, and I have started it numerous times, I want to do that 5K. I want to do it all in a winner. I don't care about the time.
Nope.
I don't care about the time.
But we're going to make it
happen.
happen.
For me, it's about the duration.
Yes.
I'm asthmatic, so I struggle a little bit with sort of the breathing. But I think for me, I think just even accomplishing it, doing it all in the winner, it will just be such a big achievement for myself.
Totally agree.
So that, I think, and smashing out a few more Munros next year.
Ooh, nice.
I feel like obviously the breathing it is getting better, the strength's there. So legs are stronger, things like that for sort of climbing. So I'm like, do you know what?
Amazing.
Get back ticking off some more of those next year. So
I know that there's a few chats going on about at least a part of, or if not all of, the West Highland Way getting done and stuff like that next year. So we might be able to help you out with some of those Munros as a team.
I want to be fabulous at 50.
Fabulous at 50. Fabulous at 50. Fabulous at 40. It's all the big numbers. Big Fs. There's a lot of big Fs that get talked about in our small group classes. So, well, let's be honest. Right. So I ask everybody this question. Every single person that walks through that door gets asked this question. Right. So something that you see all day, every day. Health, fitness, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it might be, just in daily life, what's the one thing that you see so much of that you just want to tell to fuck right off, that you would never, ever want to see rear its ugly head ever again if you could?
There's probably a few things.
Okay, go for it.
The one thing I hate is when you see those TikTok videos that say, do this for 5 days. You too can have a fabulous flat stomach.
You're like, it's 5 days. What the fuck is happening in 5 days?
Mate, there's no chance I'm going to do that in 5 days. But, that for me, I think that's one of the things. Because actually, kids believe it. I see my son. He'll actually say,
okay.
Do this exercise, Mum. He says, I've been watching it on TikTok. And you're like, wee man, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I love that. Because I think there is so much of it right now. It's like, buy this 6-week program and suddenly you will look like XYZ. You're like, nothing like that's ever happened in 6 weeks. Like, exactly that. Like, 5 days to a flat stomach, right? No. Like, that's just, like, but to your point exactly, there is people that are out there and young kids that are viewing that is their truth until someone breaks the seal on that. And it just frustrates me, because a lot of the time what they're asking people to do, actually some of it's not half bad. Yeah. But if you set a time scale of 5 days to someone, then I'm sorry, you're just setting them up for a fail from day one. And to your point, we don't want our kids believing that their health, their fitness, their strength, their mental well-being is fixable in fucking 5 days. Like, it just fucking ain't. Like, it would be great for it to be that way, but it's not.
And another one.
Go for it.
Free foods.
Free
foods. Eat as much of this free food.
Yes.
Like, nothing is free.
I want to apologise to anyone I have ever been to a buffet with, but there is unlimited rice or pasta. I am sorry, guys, but yes, I can overeat that. I can. I am that person.
Just eat till your stomach's full. My stomach's never full, hence the reason I'm here.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if my brain knows full. Like, no, free foods. Oh, the same with the words, things like sin, points, all that kind of stuff. Like, the context of them at times, I just think is so derogatory towards yourself. There's no self-respect or self-love or self-care that comes with how we align that kind of language towards it. It's like, oh, I can't have that tonight because it's sinful. Sinful? It's a horrible way to talk about food. Mm-hmm. Like, food is fuel. It's like, it's love, it's care, it's social. Sinful? Such a horrible word. Like, oh, I don't have the points for that. Like, right, okay, like, what are you, a fucking calculator, an abacus? Like, yes, calorie deficit works, calories in, calories out, all of that kind of stuff, but like, to push people into that space where, like, they're allowed or not allowed something just solely based on what someone with, quite frankly, no background to say so is telling them that they can or can't have. I think it it creates such a negative narrative towards it. So love those. Emma?
Mine's is the replacement shakes. So you're having a shake instead of having a lunch or a breakfast. Yeah. And all you do is that shake maybe does fill up the tummy because it's like having a glass of water for a wee half hour.
Yep.
And then you spend the rest of the day starving.
Yeah.
And you can't wait to get to that dinner.
Yep.
The dinner's a 500, 600 calorie dinner.
Aye.
And you're absolutely starving.
Aye. You want to stab
do
someone
that
in the
to
fucking
yourself?
eye because you are that hungry. And this is the thing, like and you guys all know this, but certainly for everyone else watching, I don't have an issue with shakes and supplements. What I have an issue with is them being used for the totally wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I am that person. I don't particularly like shakes. For me, texturally, like drink-wise, all of that, it's just not my bag. If I'm going to supplement using my protein powder as an example, I'm going to put them in something I chew. Like my porridge, my yogurt, something along those lines. I want that sensation of chewing my food. But we also have a lot of girls and guys in the group where their morning is fucking insane. Getting husbands, kids, dogs, cats, fucking everything else sorted. And maybe a smoothie with some protein powder and some Greek yogurt and some oats and stuff like that is the perfect thing for them. But it's supplementary. It's not, like you say, this is not replacing actual foods. Like,
I don't like milkshakes, but we're drinking 2 milkshakes a day because it's going to make you lose weight.
Aye.
So I was bolting, drinking
You're like,
milkshakes.
yeah.
But I thought, it's the end goal you've got to think of.
Aye.
That
Exactly.
lasted for 3 weeks,
Doesn't
then
teach
crashed
you
and
anything
burned.
either, does it?
Doesn't.
No.
There's
What are
no
you learning
education.
about food? Like, what are you learning about your body and everything like that? It's just not worth it whatsoever.
All you're learning is it's hungry.
Fucking hunger. I'll tell you something. You absolutely know what hunger is after spending fucking a week on shakes.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember the worst diet I have ever done. The worst I've ever done was a diet that it started off the morning with a skinny coffee. So, you know, those coffees that are basically packed with laxatives to make you go for a shit in the morning.
As well, I've done everything.
Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely.
one I've not done.
Lunch was a variation of a kind of cabbage soup / military diet. But I don't really like kiwis, which is quite a big part of it. And like basically it just became like a bone broth soup diet twice a day, and hoping for the best that I drank enough skinny coffee to vacate everything and anything that was taken in. And to your point exactly, all I learned from that is what true hunger was. Mm-hmm. Nothing fucking else at all. And also that when I don't eat very well, my sleep is even worse.
Yeah.
Because I literally was staring at the ceiling thinking about food.
Mine was I'm not a very nice person without food. That's what I learned a lot of that.
Don't feed Arlene and it's a bit gremlin-esque.
My friends will tell you that anywhere we go, and it's literally now, it's time for I need to eat something now. And they're like, right, let's get Arlene some
I'm going to
food
say this as
before
politely as we can because Alpha just works this way, but there is very few things that women need, and most of them start with a D, and dinner is one of them. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
And I'll let the imagination go to what the other one probably is. But if you don't feed me, I am not going to be a happy person either.
I become quite juvenile when I'm hungry. I do. I'm almost like a stroppy, like 4-year-old, 3-year-old. I'm like, toys out the pram. I get really emotional, start crying. And Jerry will be like, what is up with you? Like, what is wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just different. I'm hungry.
That's it.
I'm hungry. Yep.
I do remember, and to that point exactly, like I remember probably about the second or third time that I was sitting in my house waiting on dinner with someone who'd come down to see me for the weekend, and dinner was literally running so fucking late. We'd ordered a Chinese, and I swear it could not have taken any longer, and it was coming from 5 minutes from my house, and there was a point and he literally just turned around. He was sitting on the back of the couch just watching the TV, just chilled out, and I was literally like, my arse was making buttons, and he was just like, how hangry do you get? And I was like, very hungry. Like I could feel myself getting into that point where I was like pacing and rocking, and like I genuinely could not sit still because all I could think about was food. But to imagine living your life that way, it's just a horrible situation to be in.
It is. We've been there. That's a horrible way.
So we've got one last question to wrap up on, guys. So there is people out there, and we're going to say women in particular because it's much more common, We're not going to say that guys are not in this position as well, but there's people out there that genuinely do think that they need to diet for the rest of their life to get to where they want to get to and to meet their goals. Why should they stop right now, take stock and think about reaching out to someone like us?
I'm thinking it's don't get me wrong, I think doing that, exactly that, it's a monumental part when you do it. It's like your life will change.
Yes.
It isn't just about, like you say, it's not just about I want to be smaller on the scale. It's your whole life.
Yeah.
Because you're doing something for you. You're doing something for your mental health. You're doing something for your health.
Yes.
You know, as a woman, you'll be getting stronger, which as we all get older, women, we need a little bit. We need the strength because of our bone density, etc. So I think for me, it's a huge change.
Yeah.
But it's one that it's increasing your life. It's helping you be the best version, I think, of yourself.
Amazing. I love that. Ems?
Well, for me, I would say I've actually talked to my cousin Leonie into joining.
You have?
I feel a bit like
she starts on Monday.
But anywhere I go, I promote this lifestyle. I didn't know it was possible to feel the way that I feel now. And it's a nice place to be.
Amazing.
It's a lovely place to be. I like myself a wee bit better. I've never liked myself my whole life. So that's quite an emotional thing that I'm at that stage where I'm starting to like myself and I look in that mirror and I'm not just that girl going out masking all the time and putting on the face. I'm starting to like myself again. So I would definitely recommend to people to reach out but to say to them you need to be fully invested and you need to want to make the changes.
Yep.
Because if you're going to come and you're going to resist, then maybe it's not the right time. So do it when it's the right time. And I know that I was at rock bottom, but I'm definitely on the way up. And I'm very happy about the way things are going.
And I think it's totally, you're both so bang on. Think about, if you're sitting in there and you are in that position, that all you can see is that you're going to be dieting for the rest of your life, guys. Just, even if now's not the time to actually make the change, reach out and talk to us. Because we will show you that actually what you don't think is possible is possible. And then that is your point in time and your frame of reference to start thinking about, right, okay, what actually are the important things in my life? I will say this to just wind up the episode. My important things in life have changed dramatically over the last 4 years. My health, my fitness, my strength, my mental well-being, my mental resilience, even if we want to call it for a better term, my mental fitness, the people that I surround myself in my life, I don't want those people that just tell me yes anymore. I want those people to tell me the truth. The ones that are there to say, no, that's bullshit, you can do more. No, stop drowning in your own fucking depression because you're just sitting in there being a mopey bastard. Like, that's sometimes what we need, and everybody needs different things. There is someone out there that can help you break out of your shell if you feel like you are stuck right now. It might not be alpha, but there is someone out there. Don't sit in that shell, because as these girls have absolutely proven, the shell's just fucking shite, man. We can do so much better. So thank you so much, everybody. I hope that you took amazing things away from that. These girls have had a great journey, and their journey only is just going to continue on. They're going to be fucking feeling even better again in another 6 months' time, and another 6 months again. And at some point in time, they'll fly the coop and they'll take everything that they've learned with them. But guys, please reach out, comment, DM us, tag us on anything at all that interests you, and if you want to have that chat, then come and speak to us. But guys, I really hope that was a really interesting episode on some amazing journeys from these two amazing ladies. Thank you so much, Arlene. Thank you so much, Ems.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.